24-hour smog test, oil changes, detailing, bodywork, engine and transmission rebuilding. And ZipZap.
Good afternoon.
Diagnostics with qualifying repairs. No appointment necessary. 24-hour service. ZipZap Auto at Cheyenne and North Durango Drive. And online at zipzapauto.com.
Where the hell is everyone, man? It's raining today in Vegas. Everyone, take the day off. Let's go. Let's wake up. Man, my energy's through the roof. Let's go. Yes, let's get a tweet out, wake some people up. Yes, I'm on the radio weekdays from 12 to 2 p.m. Pacific. You'll experience how smooth it is. It's the Ferrari of tequila, the single highest quality. 100% all-natural handcrafted comisario tequilas, blanco, reposado. Yes, good to see people there. Look, I turned the machine on and everyone's there. Hello. Okay. Getting the tweet out, man, trying to wake people up. That's Cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher. How we doing today? What do you think of this Aaron Rodgers out with the Jets? Give me your veteran quarterbacks. That's going to be the monologue. Veteran quarterbacks. And don't tell me you don't want a veteran quarterback. I don't care if you're a Raider fan or anybody else. There are veteran quarterbacks available. Veteran quarterbacks win. They're mature. They know the sport. They know how to play. So don't tell me you don't want a veteran quarterback, okay? I like Aiden O'Connell. I do, but don't tell me I'm spending February, March, April, May, June, July without a veteran quarterback in here, all right? No way. Let's get a veteran quarterback in here quick. You make up your mind on who you want, and I'm sure Spy Tech Brady and Chip Kelly will appreciate your opinion. Right? All right, let's get the JT The Brick tweet out. Graduation rate, 100% of seniors are accepted into at least one four-year university. To learn more about the school or schedule a campus tour, please call 702. We got Phil Villapiano on today. Bobby, you got to remind him, please, that this is not satellite radio. This has got to be clean. Well, the delay will always be on. And the phone number, let me get the tweet out. Thank you. You know, the other shows that you get a chance to see before they start, I'll tell you what they do. They fill the teleprompter. They make sure the earpiece works for the host so they can tell them what to talk about. This is JT Raw, man. This is what you're getting. This time of year means college basketball. Some water. Got a good workout in today. Peloton. Yeah, threw some weights around. Ready to roll.
All right.
It's the JT The Brick Show. Broadcasting live from the Finley Cadillac Performance Studio.
Raiders bring a blitz. He takes it off the middle, and he's wrapped up from behind. Max Crosby.
Your silver and black home to sound off for over 20 years.
Open at the 35. Racing to the 20. 10. Touchdown Raiders.
And now, here's JT The Brick.
Out of the gate, JT in rainy Vegas. It's not pouring, but it's raining here. Sound the alarm. Sound the alarm. It is raining in Vegas. Maybe my number one reason why I moved to Vegas, it doesn't rain. It doesn't rain. I grew up back east where it rained all the time. And they never told me when I was a kid living in Long Island, New York, that all the bad weather from the Midwest and Chicago up north was coming to New York, and all the bad weather from the south, the rain, the Gulf, the hurricanes, that was always going north, Bobby, to where you were in Boston and I was in Long Island. No teachers ever taught us that in school. It was a conspiracy theory because I would have raised my hand at 11 years old and said, I'm out of here. I didn't know it rained all the time. And then you get to the summer where I love New York and Long Island, and it rains all summer. And you go, wait a second, wait. It rained in the winter. It was cold. It was slushy. It was snow. And now I got June, July, and August, and it's raining in June, July, and August. I came to Vegas because we get no rain. When I mean none, we get none. But it's raining today. It's not coming down hard, but be careful on the road. I will continue to thank everyone out there who works in these conditions. Hey, man, you get up in the morning, you work construction. They're not sending you home because it's drizzling and cold and raining. The people that work outside, the 872 laborers, our proud partner, it's hard to work outside, man. It's hard to be a laborer, work outside, whatever you do. I think of you all the time because you do the real jobs, and we respect what you do. So here's how the show needs to go. I'm going to give you a 20-minute monologue. I do that every day. That's what I do every day. The first 20 minutes, I own the show, my opinion, and then we hope to hear from you. You should know what you want to talk about by now. You shouldn't be spoon-fed with topics. Some shows spoon-feed you topics. It's really a dirty secret. It's the producers who are forced to get there 3 hours before the show. They get bagels and coffee, and then they have to prepare the show for the host who didn't watch any sports the night before. Yeah, that's a dirty secret in our business. The hosts who are in sports radio, who don't watch sports at night or go to bed at 9 o'clock Eastern time, and the games don't start till 7:30 Pacific time. And then they wake up in the morning and some young men and women tell them what they missed. Not here. Last night, Bobby, I didn't tell you this. I watched an hour of sports that was amazing. My wife had an event. She was out. I was home by myself. And my son's a senior at Arizona State. He's at ASU with Bobby Hurley's the coach. So I'm going through the guide, and I see Arizona State's playing Texas Tech. So I check in. There's like 10 minutes to go in the game. I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch this. And then I tune in, and I'm watching the Four Nations hockey. Holy crap. In Montreal, Canada versus Sweden. So Canada, led by Sidney Crosby, is up 3-1. And in hockey, when you're Canada, playing in Canada, you're up 3-1, it's over. And then boom, Sweden scores. I'm like, oh, that was a nice goal. And then Sweden scores again. And then the Swedish goalie is stopping everything, and it goes to overtime. And Sidney Crosby gets the assist in overtime, and Canada wins 4-3. I was on the edge of my seat. And that's really a big topic in sports, is live sports, compared to watching stuff that's not live, talk shows, or, you're watching Stephen A. Smith from early in the morning, later in the day, whatever you watch. But live sports is king. So as soon as that ended, I switched over back to Arizona State. They went to double overtime. And the game was great. ASU lost. Bobby Hurley was upset. I was texting my son in Tempe. And then when that game was over, I switched over to the Warriors playing Dallas. And that game was unbelievable. Dallas won. So in about an hour, at the end of the hockey, the college basketball, and the NBA, I watched an hour of live sports, maybe an hour and 15 minutes, that were amazing. And I just, because I had the clicker going, I had the remote going, I didn't want to dive into Netflix, go deep into that. And I watched some great live sports. So I just want to give a plug to watching sports. There's a lot of live sports on this time of year. You got the NBA, you got college basketball. We do a lot coming up here with college basketball because we're Vegas. And we got March Madness, which is big here. There's going to be some games in the tournaments. So we'll have all that. And then the Lakers got Luka Doncic, which is a big story. And Vegas is kind of an NBA town. We are going to get an NBA team here in Vegas, no debate. And it's going to be built. I think Oakleaf is going to build it, and we're going to build it probably by the Rio. I believe in that. See, I don't believe the hocus pocus. People come to me all the time. Will you come on our TV Sunday night show and sit down and talk about the A's? What? Do you know who I am? I don't do that. I don't sit down and talk about the A's stadium, which might never happen. Because remember what I said, Bobby, they might stay in Sacramento. I wouldn't let the A's out of Sacramento. I'd keep them in Northern California so the real A's fans can go watch the team. But we're going to get NBA here. And we're going to get the NBA. And it's going to be great. But it's got to be expansion. Because I think A-Rod, who's now part owner of the Timberwolves and the New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, we were just down in New Orleans. Nobody talks Pelicans. They might as well move tomorrow and come to Vegas. Best thing that ever happened to them. We'll take them. We have to change the name. It's not going to be Vegas Pelicans. Call them Vegas something new and scrub their history. There's no history. No history, and do it there. But I think expansion will work great here for the NBA team. And then, watching UNLV basketball with Kevin Kruger and Lindsay LaRocque and what they're doing with the Lady Rebels who beat San Diego State. So last night was a good night in sports. So then I went to bed. I went to bed eventually, and I woke up this morning, and the internet broke because Aaron Rodgers has been officially told to leave the Jets. And that's the focus of our monologue, brought to you by Golden Entertainment. They own the Strat. Have you been to the top of the world? Take it from me. Get a reservation. Your parents are in town. Valentine's Day. You got a buddy in town. Take him up to the top of the world at the Strat. They'll go in the elevator. You go up there. The views will blow you away. We really like talking about that. Brought to you by the Strat. So I woke up today and everybody's talking about Aaron Rodgers. Jay Glazer broke that story on Super Bowl Sunday. I'm a big believer of getting these great quarterbacks, Hall of Famers, at the end of their career for nothing. Okay? For nothing. So I put texts out today, former GMs, former scouts. What is Aaron Rodgers worth? You won't believe the answers I got. 20 million, 10 million, 45 million, whatever it is. Remember what Russell Wilson was available for $1 million, and we didn't do it. Our former regime, who I like a lot, they didn't want Russell Wilson last year. Would have been a great move. Russell Wilson had an outstanding year for Pittsburgh. At one point, they were 10-3. Raider Nation, would you take 10-3? Yeah, I think you'd take 10-3. Russell Wilson was the architect of that 10-3 team. Is he getting older? Yeah. Is he hitting the wall? Maybe. Yeah. Who cares? He's really good. And so is Kirk Cousins. He's really good. Now, Cousins fell off a cliff in Las Vegas. He played against our Raiders. Atlanta beat the Raiders, but he was god-awful in that game. Oh, my God, he was terrible. But guys are allowed to have a bad game. You have a bad game or two. What's the big deal? You played a bad game. You're 38 years old. Doesn't mean every game's going to be bad. But here's where we're at, Raider Nation, and I put it in the chat here as we start off on YouTube, JT The Brick YT. It's time to pick a veteran. It's time for all the used guys, as they say in the movie Goodfellas, used guys over there. It's time for all used guys and gals to pick a veteran, because I'm sick of spoon-feeding you all the veterans. So you ready for the list? You got Sam Darnold. You got Aaron Rodgers. You got Russell Wilson. You got Geno Smith in a trade. You got Matthew Stafford in a trade. And that's about it. Did I forget anybody? I mentioned Kirk Cousins, Bobby. The first guy I said. Sam Darnold, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson. We didn't want Baker Mayfield. We didn't want Russell Wilson. We didn't want Sam Darnold. They were giving them away, like going to a swap meet. Hey, man, you want to try this at Costco? You're walking down the aisle at Costco. Hey, would you like to try this beef bouillon? Yeah, I'll try it. How much? Oh, nothing. It's free. We could have got Sam Darnold for free. Why the hell didn't we get Sam Darnold? He was available for $10 million. We didn't want him. What were we doing? Why didn't we want any of these veteran quarterbacks? They were right there in front of us. JT the Brick in the third person. I do that randomly, but in the third person's telling you, get Baker Mayfield, get Sam Darnold, get Russell Wilson. No one wanted him. Okay, how'd we do? We won 4 games. I like Gardner Minshew a lot. We were one of the first to interview him on Media Day. Nice guy. Swashbuckling mustache, long hair. How'd that work out? It's supposed to work out really good. He's a good player. Aiden O'Connell's a good player. Got hurt a lot. Coordinator after coordinator after coordinator. So when I throw out on a topic like today, Daniel Jones, Lou put in there. You better believe it. Daniel Jones has tremendous upside because his career has been pretty bad. Really bad. I mean, really, really bad. There were times I was like, man, Daniel Jones is a really good-looking athlete. He ran for 40 yards. My dad in New York, big Giant fan, loved Daniel Jones. He's like, do you see that guy run? I'm like, yeah, Dad, he's pretty athletic. But he played on a terrible team. So doesn't he deserve to get another chance somewhere else? I'm not saying Daniel Jones is the answer to the Raiders. Stop. I'm just saying I'm throwing out names. I'm doing my job. You're gonna have to get one of these veterans, everybody. You might as well make up your mind in the next couple of weeks. That's it. You know, when Antonio went with Minshew over Aiden, I was good with that. Why wouldn't I be good with it? Gardner Minshew had more experience than Aiden O'Connell. Gardner Minshew played the best 12 minutes of football last year of anybody on the Raiders. The best 12 minutes was Gardner Minshew beating Baltimore and Lamar Jackson in Baltimore. Best 12 minutes of football you saw all year, Gardner Minshew. Let's not forget the Raiders were 2-2 last year. You know who else were 2-2? The Eagles. The Eagles were 2-2. Raiders fell off a cliff. They fell off a cliff because everybody got hurt. Everybody got hurt, got in the tub, and didn't come out of the tub. Right? That's a big deal. I wonder what Pete would have thought about that roster. Look, if someone gets hurt, they're hurt. We don't talk about them. But, man, we were living in that practice squad room. Oh, last year, man, we were every pregame show, Eric Allen and I at the Torch, we are getting the notes and we're getting the inactives and we're looking down on our phones going, oh, boy, who's not playing today? Max at the end of the year got surgery. He couldn't play at the end fair, injured. So when we talk veteran quarterbacks, that will be our biggest topic in the offseason. Now, do you want the good news or the bad news with the rookie quarterbacks? You want the good or the bad? I'll give you the bad first. Shador is dropping like a rock. Shador is dropping. If you believe Field Yates and Jeremiah and all the guys who are doing their mock drafts, which I'm starting to bookmark here, Shador, Sanders, Deion's kid is dropping. Just drop to 6, man. Just get to 6. If you can get to 6, and we get Shador Sanders at 6, and we don't have to trade up to 2 or 3 to get him, all day. All day. Park Shador, take his Rolls Royce, whatever he's got, whatever, and just park him. And let Aiden teach him how to go to meetings and all that. I'm good with that. Shador's dropping. Cam is not dropping. So that's the problem here. Shador's dropping. He could get to 6. But imagine if he doesn't get to 6, he gets to 5, and we're like, oh, pretty please, drop one more, and all of a sudden he's gone. And then we'll take the best available player. We did that with Brock. How'd that work out? Pretty good. Pretty good. But the trade now for Stafford's interesting because his wife is chirping a lot. And raise your hand and beep your horn if you have a wife who chirps. You know, I normally don't get into wives. I got great friends. Most of you guys who know me know my friends are great. A lot of them are single in their 50s. Oh, what a dream life they have. They call me every 10 minutes. Can you go to Maui and golf? Can you go to Europe? Oh, well, you don't have a wife. You don't have kids. But when you get to these aging quarterbacks that have starlet wives like Sierra, if Russell Wilson comes, Sierra cannot sell out at the Sphere. She could sell out a lounge. Like you could put her in Sahara. Sahara's got this beautiful lounge. She could sell that out. She's not going to sell out T-Mobile. I bet you Sierra would love to live in Vegas and sell out one of these lounges to do an early show like the old days. She'll do an early show at 6, Bobby, and then a late show at 10. You can come in, do it, make a Vegas. Again, Stafford's wife, nothing negative to say, but she loves the Instagram, man. She's got a podcast. The Football Wives with podcast. Oh, boy, watch them. But he could be available in a trade. He's really good. Here's what I want. I want an adult, mature quarterback who can break the huddle, get the play from Chip Kelly, have 20 seconds left on the play clock, instantly read the coverage. This is very important. Read the coverage. Oh, there's a high, too high. Tampa 2. Oh, there might be a blitz on the corner. An adult, someone in his mid-30s who knows how to read a defense and can get the ball out in 2 seconds to Brock Bowers. That makes sense? That's all I want. Now, I'd like Jaden Daniels, but we're not going to get him. That's why I'd like to get Shador. If I can get Shador at 6 and I don't have to trade up, I'm good with that because I know I'm getting a potential superstar. Well, what happens if he flames out? Too bad. Got to take that risk. All the Raider fans are blanking and moaning that we don't have a celebrity, we don't have a star quarterback. Well, don't complain if Shador drops to 6 and we take him. That's about as good as it gets. That's a dream scenario to get Shador at 6 if we don't have to go up and get him. Yeah, it would have been nice to get Michael Penix and Bo Nix, but I'm a fan of Brock Bowers. So the quarterback topic will live heavy today. The reason why I opened with it was because of the Aaron Rodgers announcement. Now, for Raider fans who are worried about Aaron Rodgers, what are you worried about? What are you worried about? He's completely healthy. He was just let go by the Jets and has a chip on his shoulder. He's a 4-time MVP, maybe top 5 quarterback all time at reading defenses and putting a ball on a dime. He didn't forget how to do that. You don't think he can throw 22-yard out routes anymore? Then you didn't watch last year. The guy in his last 10 games was as good as any quarterback or, in between 5 and 15 in the league. But if he can, again, let me just, so this doesn't get out of control. I don't think he's coming to the Raiders. I wanted him here 2 years ago. Remember when he went to the Jets and came out with the American flag on the opening night? That should have been at Allegiant Stadium. We should have had him. But it was really expensive. He's a $50-something million guy. And the Raiders didn't want to do that. But Stafford, Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, Darnold all make the Raiders significantly better. Significantly better. All those veteran guys in their 30s, not in their late 50s like me, all these guys in their mid-30s are really good. And they're professional quarterbacks. They know how to go to camp. They know how to lift weights. They know how to recover. They're all really good. You might think they suck. Okay, they don't suck. That's what I'm here to tell you. They don't suck. So the quarterback scenario is a little bit more complicated than we think, isn't it? It really is, Bobby. It's complicated. Who are we going to get a quarterback? Like the Patriots have Drake May now for 10 years. That's not complicated. Now they have Mike Vrabel and they got Drake May. Now they can go build their team. Washington's got Jaden Daniels. Chicago's got Ben Johnson, the new whiz kid head coach with Caleb. They're set. Matt LaFleur has Jordan Love. That's pretty good. But what about the rest of the league? Cincinnati's got Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's starting to chirp. He wants to keep T. Higgins. Someone let Joe Burrow know that the owner is Mike Brown, maybe the cheapest owner in NFL history. And Mike Brown ain't going to pay for Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, Trey Hendrickson, and T. Higgins. And T. Higgins could be available to the Raiders. And then as John Balcom says on YouTube, JT, what about Justin Fields? I'm fine with Justin Fields because he can run. I'm fine with him. If you take Justin Fields and put him with Chip Kelly and put them in the lab and get him on the backfield out in Henderson and work on his footwork and whatever, I'm good with that too. Because the last thing I tell the bricklayers and everybody else, I want the coaches to do their work. I want the coaches, after John Spytek and Tom Brady picked the quarterback, I want the coaches to take that young man and mold him into being a good quarterback. I'm not going to get in the way of that. I'm not going to do show after show. Oh my God, sky's falling. What happens if he sucks? Excuse me? You're all complaining that you don't have a quarterback. Let them go pick the quarterback. Let them go shop for the groceries, pick the quarterback, and train the quarterback to be good. But in the meantime, I'm a season ticket holder at Allegiant Stadium. I don't want to go 3 wins, 4 wins, and wait for Arch Manning the following year. Yeah. I don't got time to do that. I don't want to sit there and walk from the torch to my seat, talk to some friends, and then all of a sudden go, who we got playing quarterback today? Aiden O'Connell? I'm good with Aiden. I'll fight with Aiden O'Connell every day. I'm doing an event with him next week. Him and Rod Woodson, both from Purdue. I think the world of Aiden as a diehard teammate for this team and a guy's ready to go and been through a lot of adversity. But I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't say we got to get a quarterback. So Vince Sapienza will join us from our morning show. Phil Villapiano at the top of next hour. Foo is going to come in. We're going to talk about aging quarterbacks because he played with an aging quarterback, a bunch of them. Oh, he played with Daryl LaMonica, George Blanda, and Ken Stabler. Phil played with all those guys. They're all old. They're all old guys. But they're not old compared to Rodgers and Brady. I mean, Blanda was, no doubt. But LaMonica and Stabler. So we'll talk to him about that. And then hopefully hear from you. 702-365-9200. The topic today is Aaron Rodgers. The only thing I would like you to say about Aaron Rodgers, please don't say he sucks. That's really petty and juvenile. He doesn't suck. He's really good. And he has a chip on his shoulder now. And his ego might have took such a hit today that he might play for cheap. He's not going to play for $1 million like Russell Wilson. That ship sailed and we didn't get on that ship. $1 million. Devontae was getting $1 million a game. Russell Wilson would have been $1 million for the year. We didn't want that. So now we got to go shopping. I think Sam Darnold, I would pay what he's worth. If Darnold turns out to be 40 to 45 million, I'd pay it. I would. I'd pay it. I'd give him to Pete. He's a USC guy. Pete's a USC guy. Give him to Chip Kelly and go, we got Sam Darnold for the next 4 years. Let's take our shot. We know he's good. We know he's good. He might not be Josh Allen, but he's pretty good. So those are some of the choices that we have here. We'll dive into all of that as we open up the show. NorCal Raider kicks us off on the mobile app. What's happening?
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Just want to congratulate Eric Allen. He was part of my era, in the 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
42 years old, and I really enjoyed that era. Beaker and all those guys back in those days. And between 98 and 2002 was a great time. Also, Aaron Rodgers. I feel like he doesn't want to play football no more. I don't know why. I think he's a good quarterback. I'd probably just go to Darnold and just get him for a couple of years and pick up Shador, or the alternative route. I really like Stafford because I know Stafford's a good competitor. He went through a lot of adversity.
Yeah, but you can't, hold on, you can't get Darnold then Shador, because if you get Shador, you got to play him. You got to play him by week 8 or 9 or 10. Shador ain't sitting for 2 years. He's not Jordan Love. So if you're going to get Sam Darnold, there's no need to get Shador. You got Aiden O'Connell behind Sam Darnold. You can't have Sam Darnold and give him a multi-year deal and then have Shador ready to play. That won't work.
Yeah, or pick up what's his name, Stafford, and get Shador. That's what I was thinking. And just because he lives, in Southern California, not that far from LA, he doesn't have to rearrange his life very much. And of course, in the offseason, I pick up Spillane. Of course, and those will be my number 2 priorities. And of course, the offensive line can even work.
Yeah, I wonder. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Opens up a line for you. We should never have an open line. We're the flagship of the Raiders, man. We're the Raiders flagship station all over the country, nationally. Should be fans lined up to get on this show to sound off like you got a pair. I don't care who the quarterback is. I just want the quarterback position to be vastly improved. Vastly improved. And it's vastly improved with Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Sam Darnold. I wouldn't say vastly improved with Kirk Cousins. But Kirk Cousins is better than Aiden O'Connell. And then, the 2 young guys coming out are really good. But some people think they're dropping or whatever, or where they're going to be. We might not get a Bo Nix in this draft. Bo Nix is good. I was wrong on Bo Nix. Pains me to admit when I'm wrong. I wish we had Bo Nix, but I'd rather have Brock. I'll take Brock over Bo Nix. But Bo Nix is good. I'm a big Herbert guy. I think Herbert's elite. I don't care if he's lost 2 playoff games. The guy's bleeping elite. A great player, one of the best players I've ever seen in Allegiant Stadium, bar none. We got to get an elite quarterback, and we got to develop one. And I believe in Chip Kelly and Pete Carroll to do that, and John Spytek. And I thought Tom Telesco was setting up for this draft. If Tom wasn't let go, Tom was going to be the guy to go out there, and he's the guy that drafted Justin Herbert. And give him credit for that. And I think he would have been a guy that could get one, but I'm interested to see what John Spytek could do because, God, his roster in Tampa was really good. John Spytek, the way he drafted and retained players and built that Tampa Bay Super Bowl roster, man, he was good. Now, he was the assistant, but he was in the room on all that, kind of like Dave Ziegler when Dave Ziegler was in New England and Denver, and he was building his chops to try to be a GM eventually. These young GMs who have never been a GM before, they got experience. They're just not the guy calling in the card and making the actual pick. Good monologue brought to you by Resorts World. If you go to Resorts World, the concerts are amazing. They got one of the best theaters in the world. Now, we have the Sphere. That's one thing. Wait till you see the theater at Resorts World. If it's Janet Jackson, if it's a concert there, let us know about it. I don't make Raider D in Oakland wait because he is old school, original. Raider D, you never have to wait. Whenever you call, you go right to the front of the line, my brother.
Hey, man, it's funny, man. I was looking at the pictures of your boys and you guys down there at the Super Bowl. Looked like you had a good time. You did a good job, man. Hey, I'm proud of those boys, too. And I just think back that I knew you before they was born, before you were married, man. Mm-hmm. I remember when you first got your show going, when you used to get at when you got bad calls, man. You taught us all, the rules of the game and how to do it, man.
Thank you, D. Yeah, my kids, when they were in the black hole, the first time they were going there, they were 4 or 5 years old. Their first Raider games, and you were a big part of that. You were taking me from Chris and West Oakland and your tailgate over to the black hole. Hey, Raider D, you want a veteran quarterback or do you want Shador? You're old school, you're diehard. Who do you want?
Well, my thing is, I want them to. They definitely have to get in a good veteran quarterback. I wouldn't mind any of them because I know that they'll go through an interview process with Pete Carroll, with the new GM, and they'll get them focused in the new culture that what we're trying to get going here. But I would like to see him get a young quarterback and develop them. I don't believe in getting these young quarterbacks and then thinking you're going to instantly turn things around. That happened in Washington. That was the exception to the rule. It doesn't happen, with every franchise. So to see some of these other ones, like the kid in Atlanta, the kid in Carolina, how they got a little taste of it, then they pulled them back so that they could watch a couple of veterans, do it. That's the route I'd like to see us go. Rodgers, he'd have to be on our program, on our page. The same thing with Russell Wilson, man. I don't want these guys who think that they're going to come in and they're going to have a separate office and separate this and that away from the team. You have to put in, if you're going to be a leader, you have to lead by example. And if you're taking off days, if you're taking off some of the off-season programs, then some of these other young players are going to feel that's the thing they should do when they move up into a leadership role. So I'm just hoping, with Pete Carroll, with this new regime, man, that we have guys reeled in, focused on football, not social media, not podcasts, but getting your job done on Sunday because that's what you get paid for.
Thank you, D. Good to talk to you. You like that shot D took at the end? Not concentrating on your podcast. Max is allowed to have a podcast. He's got a big one. Max is Max. But everybody else, put your podcast down until your career's over. Then you can go have one like Jason Kelsey and make $100 million on a podcast. That is the monologue brought to you. Bobby, we got a $50 Grimaldi's gift card. We have to give it away. That's to a local, someone in Vegas. Maybe we'll get a Vegas call today that wants to talk quarterback. 702-365-9200. Grimaldi's, the best pizza I ever had. I get the Brooklyn Bridge. Just get the Brooklyn Bridge pizza. Extra ricotta over at Grimaldi's. Mediterranean or the Caesar salad. The calzones, phenomenal. Wine list. They serve Modelo. It's great. Boca Park, you'll always find me. Grimaldi's, the best pizza I've ever had. Yep. When I sit at home and I go, I got to get to 12:30 Pacific. And we got to 12:30 Pacific today, Bobby. We did. Couple phone calls, couple hot topics. Raining out here today.
Should I keep playing Super Bowl shit or should I put something else in?
You can play Super Bowl stuff to the end of the week, I think. I think that'd be all right.
We still got a couple of cuts we never played, like Andy Reid.
Yeah. Oh, I got a good take on Andy Reid.
Cool. We'll have a couple minutes before Sapienza.
Okay. First measurable rain in Vegas in a while. Yeah, it is. It is kind of measurable, man. You got what's called rain. Yeah. You think Herbert's going to be another Rivers, Adam? Rivers was a pretty good player, man. Rivers was really good. Not bad to be Phillip Rivers, man. He was a good player. They didn't have enough to win Super Bowls, but he's good. Where'sLO.com says Rodgers sucks, Darnold sucks, Russ sucks, Aiden, blah, blah, blah. So here's another guy who says these guys suck as he's sitting there watching my YouTube feed in the middle of the day. So those guys suck, huh? Right. Where's Los.com saying guys who are worth a couple $100 million suck. Unbelievable.
Of course, you have to take it from where it comes from.
Mm-hmm.
This is one unemployed motherfucker hanging around the building. Raider Nation, what's your name? Hey, Hey, my buddy, how the hell are you? I missed you.
Does he say hello?
No, nothing.
Translation for GMTVCC.com is Give Me the Bin Classic and Collector Cars. It's a brand new buy. It's for classic and collector cars. Experience what buyers will appraise and offer on your 1970 Chevy Cougar or 1988 Fox Body Mustang. Or your
I watched a new documentary last night, a little bit on Black Hawk Down on Netflix. I didn't realize, I watched the movie Black Hawk Down, which was really, really good. That Black Hawk Down scenario in Mogadishu, Somalia. Holy crap. They sent our military and our Rangers to go look for a warlord in an area that, you can't ask our military to go into an area that violent with Humvees and helicopters and not think they're going to die. It was like crazy that they got the go-ahead to go. That thing should have been, whoa. That they should have just dropped the bomb in there, just would have found the guy. They didn't have drones back then, man. Remember, now they got drones. Those drones come in, they find the warlord, boom. But man, those guys were brave. I did not go see the Zeppelin movie yesterday. I did not. I'm not excited about Vince's phone today because he's in Henderson and it's raining.
Hey, Vince, Bobby, how you doing? How much? I guess that's what JT can come in. Okay? Yeah, it sounds a little low.
Turn them up.
As much as I can, but yeah. All right, so we got him. Randy Cruz number later. That's about it.
Okay.
Let's be Andy Reid coming back.
Whoa. Kanye and Bianca have split and are heading towards a divorce. Kanye must be the worst father in the world to put his kids through this.
One of the most human beings.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy just has mental issues. Raider Nation, what's your name? Hi, what's your name? Oh, where you calling from?
Welcome back to the JT The Brick Show. Brought to you by Comisario Tequila, the official tequila of the JT The Brick Show.
Yeah, so Vic does a nice job with that defense. They played well. They were good players and good scheme, and they executed better than what we did. Coach better, starts with me, and they played better.
That was Andy Reid taking the pain. I think Andy Reid should. He was out-coached. I put out a video last night on X at JT The Brick saying that I thought it was great content from the comments, not my comments. I said Andy Reid got out-coached. Give me another coach who was out-coached that badly in a Super Bowl. There's been 59 Super Bowls. Andy Reid is on the Mount Rushmore of getting out-coached in a Super Bowl. No adjustments, no reactions. And I asked everybody, and it came back overwhelmingly, Bill Callahan, Raiders coach when Gruden knew all of our plays, and they're right. It was. I like Bill Callahan. It was brutal. Vince Sapienza, the TV guy, the morning show radio host. He does it all. And Vince, I'm going to put you on the spot because you got a big talk show in the morning. Are you into a veteran free agent quarterback just today, not months from now, or do you like a rookie quarterback in the draft? Where you leaning?
Well, JT, before I answer that, I must say this because I haven't had the chance to. The interview you did with EA following his Hall of Fame induction was sublime. Anybody who has not listened to it, it was incredible, and there was no better of a person to conduct that interview than you. I did an interview with you shortly after you conducted that interview, and you were emotional. And when I went back to listen, it was incredible. We replayed it on the morning show, on the morning tailgate. So I just wanted to make sure I sent it to you and make sure everybody else listens. If they have not heard it, go back. It is worth the time. Might be worth your time twice. But to answer your question, okay. First things first, I don't think Raider Nation is in a position to be picky. I'll just say that. I've been planting that flag for the last couple weeks. The quarterback position was played at such a subpar level last season that the options that are afoot for Las Vegas and the Silver and Black make this a completely different team, and the complexity of this team and the potential of this team wildly different. Now, I've been in the camp, and Sam Darnold has all of a sudden become such a divisive player amongst Raider Nation. There are some that are all for it, and then there are others that are just like, stay away. I do not understand. Just because he had the bad 2 weeks at the end of last year does not erase 14 wins on a good Minnesota team. Now, he was well insulated on that Minnesota team, had a great number one receiver, had a great tight end, had an amazing defense. That being said, everybody wants a top 5 quarterback, JT. Everybody wants to get the top 5 quarterback. The problem is there's only 5 of those top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL. And if the Raiders don't have the ability to get a top 5 quarterback in the National Football League, you have to do the Pete Carroll method, which, good news for the Raiders, Pete Carroll's at the helm, where they insulate the quarterback. Look at what he was able to get out of Geno Smith. Look at what he was able to do with a third-round pick out of Wisconsin by way of NC State, undersized, small hands, all of that, and what he was able to get out of him. Now, I'm not discrediting the talent that those quarterbacks had under Pete Carroll, but he was able to insulate them. The Legion of Boom, the defense, the running game, the offensive and defensive lines. So when we sit there and we look at the options that are available for the Raiders, I don't understand how Raider Nation wouldn't be salivating if Sam Darnold decided to come to Las Vegas on a 4-year deal where the average contract per year is $45 million. The going rate for any starting quarterback that's a top 15 quarterback in the National Football League. I don't understand how you don't salivate over that. The Raiders have the second most cap space in the NFL. Money is not an issue. And especially when you have the new ownership group, or the ownership partners, I should say, with the Raiders, cash flow isn't an issue. The cash is going to be plenty year in and year out here in Las Vegas. I just talked to LVCPA. They have put in bids for every possible event outside of the NFL Combine for the foreseeable future. Events are coming to Vegas. Money is coming to Vegas, which means money is coming to the Raiders, the organization, and that means they can go out and take those risks. Now, that being said, I say all that, I'm in the Sam Darnold camp. My second choice, Daniel Jones, draft Shpw. Perfect bridge. Remember, Sam Darnold's 27. Daniel Jones is 27. Shpw is 23 right now. There are a lot of options right now, and a lot of them are good options right now. I understand what people are saying in terms of, we got to get a top quarterback. We got to get a top quarterback. Well, if there's not a top 5 quarterback, you can't expect to get a top 5 quarterback. So you have to get the best available, which in free agency right now, based on age, is Sam Darnold, because you can make an investment and you can let that breathe a little bit. It doesn't have to be this 1 year, 1 out type of situation. So I think there's plenty of options, and there's a lot of good options for the Raiders.
Vince Sapienza is our guest. I agree with everything you said on Darnold. The only pushback would be I'd stick with Aiden O'Connell over Daniel Jones. I don't need Aiden O'Connell and Daniel Jones. One or the other I'm good with, and I'll go with Aiden. But I like what you said about the money. The thing about Darnold, I'm good in the 40 to 45 million range. I'm not good in the 50 range, and Brock Purdy's going to get over 50. So Darnold, wouldn't the Vikings keep Darnold at that price, 40 to 45? Why would Darnold want to leave the Vikings if they were that interested? And, J.J. McCarthy's the guy they drafted, but I don't think he could play at the level of Sam Darnold. I wonder what the Vikings are going to do.
Yeah, it's fascinating. We had Sam Ekstrom with Locked On Minnesota on our show yesterday. And basically, he sat there and said the Minnesota Vikings are all in on J.J. McCarthy and letting him run with it. And that was kind of the goal and the, 4D chess, if you will, by bringing in Daniel Jones late last year, knowing, hey, whatever happens with Sam, whether he plays well and demands a massive contract or not, we have Daniel Jones here to kind of help usher in J.J. McCarthy, because they did make an investment. It wasn't just a top 10 pick. They traded up to get him. So, it's one of those situations where it's sounding more and more like Minnesota is ready to go forward with J.J. McCarthy. And, in terms of franchise tagging, Sam Darnold, like, why would he sign it at this point? And knowing that there's going to be a market, there's too many quarterback needy teams right now that could use him. And so when that happens, a bidding war is going to happen. Sam Darnold's going to get paid. I don't know if he's going to get anywhere near the 50. And that we've been talking a lot about that on the show, about the numbers. Brock Purdy's been in the Super Bowl. Brock Purdy's been in NFC Championship games. I don't think Sam Darnold is going to command the money that San Francisco almost kind of has to pay Brock Purdy. And remember, a lot of this is going to be what Sam wants to do at the end of the day. What's his motivation? I mean, if he moves on from Minnesota, he's going to be moving on to his 5th NFL team. And he got a taste of what winning's like. He was hoisted on the shoulders of his teammates in the locker room. JT. That is a feeling that you want to get back very quickly. So when you talk about, is the price going to be driven up on a Sam Darnold? I mean, who's going to be outbidding the Raiders, or who's going to be? Does he really want to go to Cleveland? Is that roster much better than the Raiders? No. I'm not so sure. The New York Giants, they're apparently kicking tires on every veteran quarterback possible. So I don't think the number is going to be as high as many believe, because while there's quarterback needy teams, there's too many question marks, I guess, with the quarterbacks that are available, whether it be age or whether it be resume, that makes it an easier pill to swallow if you're a team like the Raiders, who have a talented roster and could use a guy to help either bridge the next generation or wait for the next guy to come.
Vince Sapienza, as we wrap it up, man, I caught Four Nations hockey last night after Canada blew a 3-1 lead. I'm like, if they lose this game in Montreal to Sweden and they come back and give up 4 goals and lose, Canada ended up winning. But after the game, no one left their seat. This is what blew me away. And Sidney Crosby was the player of the game. So all the Swedes lined up on the blue line. They lined up and waited. Normally you lose, you go right to the locker room, right? They stood there. They gave Sidney Crosby a present, like a Tiffany present in a bag. He gets it. Standing ovation from the fans there. How good is this Four Nations going to be? And I don't want to see any of our Golden Knights getting injured playing in this tournament.
Well, I think a lot of people, fans, especially here in Las Vegas, are not used to watching international hockey because they never really had a reason to unless you were a diehard fan. International hockey, that's the norm. Most teams line up, and normally the way it works is the winning team's anthem gets played. They don't play the anthems usually before the game. They did last night to open the Four Nations, but usually the reward is both teams line up. Whoever won the game, your anthem gets to play, and then you usually get like a watch or a necklace or some fancy jewelry. But bad news for the Golden Knights last night. Shea Theodore goes out with an injury, out for the tournament. He's week to week moving forward. Did not look good, and a lot of pain. So worst case possible for the Golden Knights, the Medieval Maniacs, seeing their number one defenseman in a career year get injured 6 minutes into the Four Nations face-off in terms of time on ice. But, hey, JT, best on best, NHL players playing international hockey for the first time since 2014. I'm fired up about it, and I think if last night was the sampler of sorts, the rest of the tournament's going to be amazing, and it sets up for a beautiful 2026 Winter Olympics.
When did the Golden Knights get back? Because you're a staple in the press box there, and I got to throw in some credential requests. When are they playing again?
February 22nd, they'll play host to the Vancouver Canucks, a pivotal game in the Pacific, especially as we wait and see what the status of Theodore is.
Perfect. Good to talk to you. I'm always listening. Thank you, man.
Thanks, JT.
All right, Vince Sapienza. He was back at the Intermountain Healthcare Performance Center when we were doing all the interviews from Radio Row, and he was anchoring back there and did a great job from what I saw. So it was nice, and he paid me a nice compliment on the Eric Allen interview that I did. And that was, I say this, if you didn't hear it, you didn't hear it. It's up there. It's right on my feed. I think I pinned it. It was the only interview in my entire life that I broke down and cried like a baby. I couldn't control it. I was just in the middle of it. We were getting near the end, and I just lost it. And when you're on the radio, you don't lose it much. You can go to break or whatever happens. The only other time is when my son called, when Kobe died. And my son, I wasn't aware of that. He called in, and that was pretty emotional. But I was happy. It was happy tears for EA, who's going to the Hall of Fame, and that's going to be the priority of at least my summer. I'm going to get a lot out of that trip. I can promise you that. I'm going into Canton. I know where I'm going, what I'm doing, and I'm going to be the Pied Piper to get the Raider Nation there. You got to go there. There's only 4 in the class, and that's going to be cool. So Eric Allen will be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in August. Hopefully we don't have a game because that game's standalone. The Hall of Fame game is standalone. We were there a couple of years ago when we hired Josh McDaniels. That's where he is from. So his dad was there. I met him. The first time I ever met Josh McDaniels was on the field in Canton, Ohio at the Hall of Fame game. And then remember that was the game that Josh Jacobs played. And everyone was like, what? What is he doing? We're shopping him. What happens if he gets hurt? And the rest is history. 702-365-9200. Is that Paul in Southern California? Thanks for waiting, Paul.
Hey, how you doing, Mr. Brick, JT?
Hey, man.
Okay, so I got a few things I wanted to just bring up to you. I'm hearing people talking about how the Eagles have set the template on defense and how to beat the Chefs. AP set the template on Christmas of 2023 on how to beat the Chefs, and that was with our defensive line, and we were all over Mahomes, if you guys remember.
Yep.
So that was that. And then I want to know, has the Raiders done anything to refund that fan that broke the glass, that glass, that shatterproof glass, and all he was doing was just...
I have no idea. I don't get into that. I don't know.
Well, I think that it'd be nice to know that because I know that I saw that guy was getting escorted out.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about this. I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. Something broke, accident or not. Why are you calling me for that? I mean, I don't work at Allegiant Stadium. I'm not in charge of security. Look, I don't know what happened. I'm not aware of that, but whatever. We're talking quarterbacks today and veterans. When we come back on the other side, we'll stay with the quarterback conversation. Phil Villapiano is going to join us in 15 minutes. Brought to you by Tito's Handmade Vodka. God, I've had a few beverages with Phil over the years. I don't know if there's ever been a Raider ever, well, Fred Biletnikoff, that I'd rather have a beverage with, an adult beverage with than Foo. He's coming up in about 15. Brought to you by Tito's Handmade Vodka, the original and best handmade vodka. And that guy wanted to talk about broken glass at Allegiant.
I'm so happy to see you in person.
It's always great to come on, man. Ryan Hogue here.
Yeah, right. You look too fresh to be on Radio Row.
Don't tell him that.
Like you look like you got hydrated. Tell me all your secrets.
Oh, boy.
You're the freshest
Where
person
are
here
you
in
calling
New
from,
Orleans.
sir?
Well, thank you. I feel fresh. Now he's going to be all...
Where are you?
Right.
Don't miss Unnecessary Roughness, weekdays at 2 on Raider Nation Radio, 920 a.m.
If you're injured, knowing that someone has your back.
Sorry, they claim they can't hear me.
Our family has spent over 3 decades fighting and pursuing justice.
Fabian. Good to see you, Fabian.
That would proudly carry on.
Eddie Pascal had another child, Lucy. Huge W to start the year with our new pal, Lucy. It's good for Eddie. Eddie is a good guy, man. Happy for him. Good news for Eddie Pascal.
What's up, y'all? This is Max Crosby, and I'm welcoming you to my new Papa John's restaurant. Details at memax.eventbrite.com.
Oh, I want to let the beard grow out a bit and do that, but got to clean it up for an event I got coming up. Yes, I've had a few with Phil.
March 21st, the next day, the All-American Rejects will play their hits at the theater, and after the great shows, you'll have a new favorite dining experience at Lucia Mexican Grill. That opens February 25th. Get ready to enjoy.
So my wife said, no, we can't go out to Valentine's Day. I don't want to go into the mess of the Friday night Valentine's Day. So I said, great. So maybe we'll do something tonight.
We're going to do something on Monday since we're going to
Okay.
This is your chance to cash in and make 2025 your most profitable year
We're going to
yet.
hang out on
Don't
Monday.
wait.
Okay. I'm going to text my sons now to see if both of them. My son's driving back from Tempe to Vegas as we speak in the electric vehicle, which he charged halfway home, which is good because I don't have to pay for gas, which is great. And he'll be here because of President's Day. And Bobby just told me we are off on Monday, but I'm on Mad Dog Monday night.
Call 702-310-6683 or visit therealestateguyLV.com today. Don't just sell, win.
Okay. What are you guys all doing and gals on Valentine's Day? Doing anything special?
The real estate guy. If it's for that truck, give us a call. We got it. Hey, Vegas.
We're on like about 4 minutes. It's going to be the Ron INT.
Okay.
you ready to take your truck to the next level?
We'll keep it here with Villapiano at 105, and then I'll dump out of this after that. Who songs and Larry's, Kenny? Yeah, can everybody hit a thumbs up, hit the like button? I'd appreciate it. So my goal in the next month or two is I want to get this thing to 10,000. We got to get this to 10,000. We're almost at 7. So we started at 0. And I think that number is good. It's hard, man. It's hard to get people to come to a platform. I got to do more work. I got to live stream more at night because this audience is only going to be so big. So appreciate everybody sharing the page and letting everybody know. If you can put it up on your YouTube or maybe your Facebook or tweet it out to try to get some people to like it, I'd appreciate that.
See how much you qualify for at no cost, and you get 20% off your loan. How can you beat that? Get up to $5,000 in minutes with no checking account required and no collateral needed.
I also have one of those apps where I can track my son driving.
And don't worry, current customers, we have your back too with a special 10% discount. TLC is open on President's Day, and the loan sale ends at 6 p.m. on Monday, February 17th. So get to your nearest location right now or apply online at GoFreeRope.com. The Dollar Loan Center President's Day loan sale ends at 6 p.m. on Monday.
Welcome back to the JT The Brick Show, brought to you by the Casa Verde Law Group. If you get injured in an accident, call 702-222-9999.
Mahomes is back. He steps up. He fires over the middle, and it's intercepted again. It's intercepted by Zach Bond.
Patrick Mahomes just gets that hot potato out of his hand.
Patrick Mahomes had a really bad Super Bowl. So did Andy Reid. So did Travis Kelce. It was a rough one. We're brought to you by the Casa Verde Law Group. Man, brothers win. The brothers have your back. Big win. Love what they do. The Casa Verdes, when they win, they're very humble about it. It's my job to remind you that the brothers win. Brotherswin.com. If you get into an accident, like a day like today, people don't know how to drive out here. It's wet. People do not know how to drive in the rain because we get no rain. So the oil comes up. There's going to be a lot of rear ending, a lot of accidents. People just rear ending everybody because they slide. If you get into an accident and you're injured, call my guys. The brothers win with Casa Verde Law Group, 702-222-9999. Let's give Bruce a $50 Grimaldi's gift card after his call because he's here in Vegas. Bruce, how are you?
Hi, JT. How are you doing?
Doing well. Hang on after the call. What's on your mind?
Thanks for taking my call. Live here in Vegas, been a Raiders fan for a long time, and wanted to talk about the quarterback situation. The two things that I would not want to see is, first, I would not want to see Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, or the Atlanta quarterback.
Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to see them. The second thing I don't want to see is I don't want to see the Raiders draft a quarterback in the first round with the expectation of them starting that quarterback sometime in this first year. This team right now is not equipped to throw a young quarterback to the dogs. They need to get their situation set with their offensive line, wide receivers solidified so that when that young quarterback comes in, he's ready to go.
Okay.
Which I think is why the perfect reason to get Sam Darnold, maybe even Geno Smith or Matthew Stafford, and then down in that second, third round, draft a quarterback that you can develop. Not
Why? We got Aiden O'Connell. Aren't we developing him? What are we doing here? We got a 4th-round quarterback on a rookie contract that we're developing under Josh McDaniels, a great, not good developer, great. And now Chip Kelly. We got Aiden in the building. He's the guy you're talking about, Bruce.
Well, the thing is, and I understand that, you also need to provide competition in the quarterback room.
Okay.
If you have a quarterback in the second or third round, somebody that you can develop, you're going to be pushing Aiden O'Connell at the same time. And then you're able to pick the one that's really going to make it. And you made the comment that you didn't think there was a Bo Dix in the draft. And I think there's two, but they do need some development. And I think they're going to be available in the second or third round. And that's Jackson Dart or Dylan Gabriel. So if you've got that starting quarterback plus Aiden O'Connell, and then you've got that Dylan Gabriel or Jackson Dart in the third, as the third quarterback, to not only develop but help push Aiden O'Connell, I think that would be a perfect situation.
Thank you, Bruce. Stay on hold. You win the $50 Grimaldi gift card. Best pizza we've ever had. 4 locations here in the Valley. I never dreamed that I'd have a radio show and someday I'd be giving away pizza. I love it because I love pizza. That was a good phone call by Bruce. Really good call. The problem with Dart is if we don't get him early, he won't be there. If you wait for Jackson Dart and wait for him, someone's going to steal him from the Raider Nation. So if you like him, you better go up and get him. All right. Phil, yep. Here we go. All right, everybody, I'm going to take a 2 to 3 minute break. That's what we do, take a 2 to 3 minute break. A break where I don't have to sit in front of the screen, but I will be here. And then we have Phil Villapiano, who is a hoot, and he will join us coming up here. We'll actually text him and tell him we're going to call him. Yep. I will be right back.
I'll pass it on to the promotion guys. I'll get that card out. Thank you.
When you need legal advice, you need the brothers. You need the DeCastro law firm. This is JT. They're my attorneys, and they should be yours too. For personal injuries and accidents, reach out to the DeCastro law firm. Let their family fight for yours.
The place for all your Raiders coverage is right here on Raider Nation Radio, 920 AM.
There's a new way to get to the game, M-Ride it. M-Ride is the luxury concierge shuttle service. It's the same bus the players use, so you can ride like a pro. M-Ride will take you round trip from Circle with the Palms to Allegiant Stadium or T-Mobile Arena. No more hassle parking, sitting in traffic, or waiting in long taxi or rideshare lines. M-Ride it, and you'll get in and out quickly. Reserve your ride at mridelb.com. Use promo code BRICK. That's mridelb.com, promo code BRICK.
Hey everybody, it's Joey from Sky Diamonds in Town Square. Well, it's here again, Valentine's Day. Don't screw it up.
It's here again, Valentine's Day. I should start replaying my comments or I should start replying. I'm doing a fucking radio show, dude. I'm doing a radio show. I cannot reply to every comment. I mentioned the comments. I just read yours. Replying, what I maybe will, but I'm doing a show, man. I'm doing a radio show, so I don't have time to reply. I can take calls. I can interview people. I can thank you for coming on, but I don't have time to reply. I mean, I got to think. I got to ask questions. I got to navigate the show. I can't be replying. Does that make sense? Or maybe I should reply. All right. All right. I mean, again, replying, I agree. I mean, I could take any advice I could get from anybody here, but I don't have a lot of time. I'm doing a show. And that's what I need to do more is I need to do more live streams where I can talk and reply as we're doing it here. But, I'm kind of busy, man, kind of busy. Yeah, Vince at the Palazzo is great. I got to go. Fabian, maybe we can go meet up there one day. Let's go to Vince at the Grimaldi's. I'll buy when you're in town. That's my treat. But I'm going to see you, Fabian, on the Raider Cruise, man. I did the Raider Cruise Zoom yesterday, man. What a cruise ship. Man, going to go on the cruise. I think it's March 23rd to the 30th on the high seas. What was it? Mazatlan, Cabo. Man.
I'm going to let you talk for a minute, and I'll go get food.
Yeah, give me a few minutes. I think I'm going to go live with Tom Looney today at like 4 or 5 p.m. Pacific. Yep.
It's the JT The Brick Show, broadcasting live from the Finley Cadillac Performance Studio.
Raiders bring a blitz. He takes it off the middle, and he's wrapped up from behind. Max Crosby.
Your silver and black home to sound off for over 25 years.
Open at the 35, racing to the 20, 10, touchdown Raiders.
And now, here's JT The Brick.
All right, hour number 2 of the show. JT in rainy Vegas today. And it is raining. And it is raining kind of hard for us out here. We don't get much rain. Phil Villapiano, who's going to join us from Palm Desert, coming up here in a little bit. Looking forward to talking to him. This was the day today I got up and said, who do we got on the show today? Oh, nobody? Okay, I got to get out my phone. I called Phil, and Phil said he'd like to come on. We were both at Morris Bradshaw's Celebration of Life. So I wanted to make sure that we came back from Super Bowl. We're praising Eric Allen in the Hall of Fame. And also praise Morris Bradshaw. That's a good thing. And really the only big breaking news story other than the Eagles having their parade tomorrow, you want to talk about a drunk fest. They are going to be hammered. They canceled school for the kids. Not a good idea. Seriously, not a good idea. Because that means the parents are going to leave the kids at home and get hammered and go to the parade. Or the parents are going to take their kids to the parade, which means 1 million people, and that ain't a good idea. I'm all for kids having a good time. Kids shouldn't be going to the Eagles parade where everybody is smashed, out of their minds, smashed. So we'll see how this plays out. But the big news today is the Jets are splitting from Aaron Rodgers. Formally, they put out a tweet saying goodbye and thanking him for that. So good for Aaron Rodgers. He's available. He's available for the Raiders. He's available for every team that needs a quarterback. So don't be surprised if you hear his name mixed in there and what's going to happen. Because it's going to happen. He's going to be available, and every team that needs a starting quarterback is going to look. And there's a lot of teams that don't need starting quarterbacks on the list. There's a lot of teams that do not need starting quarterbacks. If you go down the list, the Cowboys don't. They're paying Dak $60 million. They don't need a starting quarterback. Buffalo doesn't. The Dolphins have Tua. The Jets need a quarterback. The Patriots have Drake May. The Ravens don't need a quarterback. The Steelers do. The Bengals don't. And the Browns might need one. So you got 2 teams in the AFC North, the Steelers and the Browns, where he could end up going. My friend, the great Phil Villapiano, joins us coming off the Super Bowl. And Phil, you got to be happy that the Chiefs lost. You're in Jersey. I know there's a lot of Philly freaks there, but we couldn't sustain another Chiefs win if they got a 3-peat.
Oh, I know, JT. That's crazy. But, JT, I don't think Philadelphia's ever going to lose again. I've never seen a beatdown of a great team like the Chiefs are. We're AFC West. We're AFC. We got to respect them a little bit. But they got killed. I could not believe how good Philly played, and they've got the people in, like Brown, the receiver.
Mm-hmm.
They don't need anybody else but him. When you got a runner and a quarterback like that and a tight end, they've got the people in the right spots, and that offensive line and defensive line. Oh my God! In the corners, they're a good team, JT. Very good team.
Phil, you played in a dominant Super Bowl. In Super Bowl 11, your big goal line play, the ball came out, the fumble. Freddie gets the MVP. Casper with the touchdown. Snake played incredible. Atkinson and Tatum. What's it like when it's 10 minutes left in the game or 8 minutes and you got the game wrapped up? Super Bowl 11, Pasadena for you, the famous kiss for you on the sideline. But what was it like knowing, oh, my God, I don't have to go to overtime. We don't have to get the ball back with a minute. We're trailing. What was that feeling like for you?
It was unbelievable. Like, keep the clock going, just get it, Well, JT, you were around. You saw how many goofy games we were in. You never knew. But even though that one, we they were demoralized. I remember after Tate hit Samuel Wade coming across the middle, that guy's eyeballs went up in his head. He was done. The other guy, Ahmad
Rashad,
yep. Ahmad, yeah, he was done. The tight end never even got off the line of scrimmage. I gouged him in the eyeballs all day. He couldn't take it. They were done, and it was fun. And we're on the sideline. You're just looking for something goofy to do, like throw water on Madden's head, or even try to pick him up. Remember that?
Yeah.
They picked him up and dropped him. So it was great. And the Eagles. I was shocked. There was like 5-6 minutes left, and they were chasing them down with the water thing. They just knew. They knew the Chiefs had quit. And you know what? The only good thing I think about that, JT, is that hey, we now know the Chiefs are beatable, and we now know how to beat them. And we got a great new head coach. I think is gonna. I mean, he's been around long enough to take what he saw in that game and apply it next year. I'm already thinking about beating the Chiefs twice next year.
Love it. Phil Villapiano is our guest. One more thing about Super Bowl 11. The first of Morris Bradshaw's 2 Super Bowls. We saw each other at his celebration of life in Oakland. You came in with the white coat on. You and Mo were tight, man. It's tough when you lose your brothers like that. When you got the call from Debbie and you found out, and how'd you handle that? Because it was a nice journey for you to come to Oakland to pay respects to your former teammate.
Yeah, well, there's certain people that you have to do that for, and Morris was one of them. He was a great friend, and in Raider days, a great friend, and then post-playing Raider days, when he took over that job as the alumni. I mean, there was no formal alumni anything, but he turned it into something really, really good. And, we could call him anytime, never a problem. I don't know if he went to Al Davis or Mark Davis or whoever over the years, but he always handled everything for the alumni, and just like a teammate would do. I really enjoyed him. And, then he struggled, with a few different sicknesses, over the years, and he always seemed to come back strong. And, it really shocked me when, I think it was really a heart attack. And I think that's what really got him, because I think he was all done with the cancer treatments. And, he was on the mend. And I thought he's going to go for a long time. But, hey, JT, you saw his 2 sons at that thing. I mean, it's like Morris is still alive.
Yeah.
Those guys are spitting image of him, and they act, perfectly. And the Bradshaw family's legacy is going to live for a long time. And, it was great to see you there. And JT, you stepped up for Freddie, which was wonderful. And it was.
Thank you.
You did a great job in your speech.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Phil Villapiano joins us. I thought of you today because, Aaron Rodgers just got dumped by the Jets, and the Raiders are in the market for maybe a veteran quarterback. You played with veteran quarterbacks who were aging. Snake was getting older before he went to Houston. You go to Buffalo. LaMonica was no spring chicken there at the end. And then you look at the aging quarterback, Blanda is the king in the history of the Hall of Fame of the aging quarterback. Phil, what do you think as a player throughout your illustrious career, that having that veteran, that savvy veteran that could read a defense quickly before they snap the ball, change the play, or bringing in that rookie and hoping the rookie can kind of get up to speed quickly?
Well, it's crazy. And, I'm glad you asked me that question, because I got a couple things that I think the quarterback role today is more important than it was anytime back when I played, because the running games back when I played were so important, and the defenses and, all that up front, hand-to-hand combat and all that stuff. I think the quarterbacks nowadays is so much more important.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, you think about Kenny, and when he got tired, he got tired. But he was never a great scrambler anyway. But we didn't need to scramble. He could hide behind our big offensive line and get the job done. George Flanagan could get the job done because he got the ball out so quick, and he had great receivers and good running game. But I think things have changed so much now just because. I mean, look at that quarterback for Washington this year.
Jaden Daniels.
Unbelievable how good he did. And the kid for Houston, how good he did. We need somebody like that. I do think quarterbacks get old. Now, I got a whole bunch of Jersey boys that are sending me the word back in Jersey this morning is Aaron Rodgers to the Raiders. I'm like, no, please. We don't need Aaron Rodgers. We need somebody that can move and throw the ball. I love his brain and I love his arm, but I think we need youth, and we may have to suck it up for another year. I was thinking we got the coach now, and we got the offensive coordinator now, and we got a general manager. Everybody seems to like now.
Mm-hmm.
If we could find one guy, and that's why when I woke up this morning, I was laughing at all that stuff my guys are sending me because, hey, I'll take Aaron Rodgers for a year, and because I'm not so sure there's any really dynamic quarterbacks in this draft. But next year, how do we get Manning?
Arch Manning.
Bring him in.
Well, in order to get him, you're going to have a bad year. And when I see you up in the Caesars box, I don't want to have a 3-win season. Arch Manning would be great. But when I'm up there with you and Janie and you're up there and I'm like, hey, we're going to have a good hug up there. I want to make sure we're winning games. Hey, Phil, you're out in the desert, Palm Springs. I mean, the Sinatra days have been long gone, but I go out there a lot and play some golf there. We go to the Nest, go to some spots. Right. Is there anything better than finishing around?
Go to the Nest.
Oh, I love the Nest. Well, I know that. Believe me, I love the Nest. But you finish your 18. You dive in the pool, you rinse off, you shower, you got a beverage there waiting. You go get a little dinner. You go to these restaurants where people know you. Did you ever dream as a young boy you'd be hanging out in the desert with those beautiful Carmel Mountains playing golf, retired Raider legend living the dream?
Well, I'll tell you, JT, it is wonderful out here.
Oh, it's
great.
We
call it paradise. Hey, JT, we go to bed. This is Phil Villapiano going to bed at 7:15 at night. Waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning. This whole place is upside down. It's so gorgeous. You want to enjoy the whole day. But then when that sun goes behind those mountains, it gets cold. Yeah. And you don't even want to be outside. You
didn't get the rain today, did you? You didn't get the rain today, did you? Because we're raining in Vegas. We never get rain. What's it like out by you?
It's raining. As a matter of fact, I was listening right when Bobby called up and said hello. It was raining. I'm sitting under a couple of skylights, and we are actually getting rain. And there's nobody on the golf course. I mean, this is crazy. My guys in New Jersey would play naked. They don't care. But out here, it's got to be perfect to be on the golf course. And it's cold. It's chilly, and yesterday we had these big winds, which you couldn't even see the mountains because there was so much dust in the air. But today, it's getting washed out by a little teeny bit of rain.
Yeah.
If we get a quarter of an inch of rain, that'll be big time.
Yeah, one of the things about the rain out here, it just cleans everything out. I lived in LA for 10 years. It rains 2 or 3 days and everything's clear. I wanted to reach out and say we miss you. It was great to see. Hey, it was interesting for me being in Oakland. I don't want to tear Oakland down because 17 years I commuted there from Vegas, but was it kind of surreal for you landing in Oakland and going to the Coliseum and indoors to Oracle, paying respects to Morris and then leaving and going back to the airport with that? There's no Hilton. You guys did some damage back in the days, even alumni there. Just kind of different when you were there for Morris, wasn't it?
Yeah. JT, and we did one of those shows, Peyton's Places shows, where I got that white coat that you saw last week. They gave George Atkinson and I what we did for Peyton's Places. He had to go to the Oakland Coliseum before they knocked it down. So he drives up in the Madden coach, and he comes off the bus, and George and I got those white coats on, and we took Peyton through, and I don't even know if they've showed this yet, but we took Peyton through the locker rooms down on the field, and all that kind of stuff. So we were just there in the spring, and it was, we kind of got that feeling that you were just explaining. It's a weird feeling. We love the place. It's such a shame that the people of Oakland couldn't figure out a way to keep the Raiders there and keep the, keep it going. I mean, and I'm sure the A's would have stayed there too. But hey, times change. Everything changes, and nothing stays the same forever. We had a great run in Oakland. I can't even tell you. I every time I'm there, I find myself trying to find Big Al's Cactus Room or the Grotto or Clancy's. I mean, we had so many good places to go and so many nice people that took care of us. And it was just, you talk about family, man. It was just wonderful being in Oakland. And I got a great feeling just being back there last week and walking down underneath in the Coliseum there. That was cool.
Yeah.
So anyway, hey, we remember only the good things. It's like Morris Bradshaw dying. I was telling Debbie, and I said, Debbie, I hate to say this, and so many of my friends are dying. I mean, you think about Russ Francis. I couldn't believe he goes down, and Conrad Dobler goes down, and and O.J. Simpson goes down, and all these guys are dying. And all I remember is the good stuff.
Yeah,
and I told that to Debbie. I said, Debbie, we're only going to remember the good stuff. Morris was such a good guy. So I feel the same way about Oakland. I only remember the good stuff about Oakland.
Beautiful.
There was no bad.
Beautiful way to wrap it up. Phil, I hope to see you real soon. Thanks for doing this. The listeners are going crazy. They're texting me. They love hearing from you, and we'll do it again. If I don't see you in the desert first, let me know when you're in Vegas again.
I will, JT. And if you want to play golf, man, I'm only over the mountain from you. Come see me.
You got it. There he is, everybody. Phil Villapiano, man. Hope everybody enjoys.